Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts over here on the Scrap Room, and I am so excited to be doing the Jumpstart sketch for the month of January. I'm going to be using the Flavors of the Month kit, and specifically I'm going to be using the Cartabella Snow Much Fun. I am also going to be using the Cartabella chipboard piece from the January embellishment kit. So for this Snow Much Fun, you get one sheet of the Snow Floral, one sheet of the 3x4 journaling cards, and one sheet of the Winter Words. Then you also receive 2 sheets of white cardstock, as well as a 1/4 of the pack of the ephemera, and that does vary, and a 1/5 of the pack of the enamel dots, which also varies. I am a double page scrapper, so if you want to see more double page layouts, make sure you check out my channel, which will be linked below. I loved this navy paper, which was the snowy florals, and I end up using the entire sheet of it. I went ahead and cut off 3.5 inches, and that's going to be on my left hand side of the layout, and then I have 8.5 inches on my right hand side. This is probably one of the easiest ways to take a 1-page sketch and turn it into 2-page. If you can move everything over to either the left hand side or the right hand side, depending on which side of the layout you want to expand, and then just continue on with whatever piece is there. So what you'll notice is that I cut out the snowy words in a 2-inch strip, and that's going to go across the right hand side just like it calls for in the sketch. And then on the left hand side of the layout, I'm going to cut off a piece just enough to be underneath my photos. I'm not going to go all the way to the end. I do end up using 2 of the cut apart cards, the one that says fun, 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 and the other one there that says let it snow. But I wanted to use the back of it, so I pulled out this strip here that I knew I wasn't going to be using, and I pulled out my Martha Stewart punch that has a bunch of little circles on it. Kind of resembles a little bit of snow. So I cut that out after I punch it. I like to go ahead and punch first and then cut out because it gives me the exact measurements that way. The sketch calls for 4 photos, and I definitely had 4 photos. I end up with 5 photos on this layout. However, if I had put the 4 photos on the right hand side of the layout, I would have only had 1 on the left, which totally could have been done, but I felt like I would have covered up all of that beautiful navy paper, and I would have rather covered up the white cardstock, so that's what I decided to do. To mimic the other 2 photos in the sketch, I went ahead and cut out those 2 cut-apart cards. I used this cut-apart card and my We Are Memory Keepers tag punch, and I just cut a little of the top of it to make it look like a tag. And then I'm going to cut it off. It's going to go over there on the far right hand side of the layout, just like the sketch calls for, but I'm going to cover up those words. You're not even going to know that they are there. It's just going to give you that green base. I am going to distress all of the edges in this weathered wood. I like to distress my cards and paper because it gives it a little bit of dimension, and it kind of sets it off without having to add an extra layer to either your photos or your paper or your cards. I do go ahead and adhere my adhesive directly to the paper itself, that white cardstock. It just helps me get the paper on a little bit easier. These rings are from Keller's Creations, and I pulled those out because I don't like to have to cut rings out all by themselves. And what I decided to do was, instead of keeping it bunched together like the sketch calls, I expanded it out a little bit. And the reason I did that was that my photos are a lot fatter. If you look at the way my photos are set up in the layout as they are compared to the sketch, it's a really thin line of photos. And I have 4x4 photos, which are a lot bigger than what the sketch calls for, as well as the 3x4 photos are a little bit bigger too. And I put them more in a cluster together as opposed to a line. So I felt like if I expanded out those rings and made them a little bit larger than what the sketch calls for, you could still see them behind my photos. I did put the fun, fun, fun and the let it snow up on pop dots so that it gives a little bit of dimension with those photos. I decided to pull in this pink twine. This is from my collection, and I felt like I just needed a little bit of pink over there in that cluster. The navy paper and the cards all have pink on them, and it really brings that pink together, but there's no pink over there on that particular cluster, so I wanted to add something over there. So now that I have the kind of base of the layout done for the right hand side, I'm going to start working on the left. Again, I put my adhesive right down on my white cardstock and added that navy paper to it. I knew that I only wanted to go as far as my photo, so I went ahead and laid my photo down to determine where it should line up. I am using my T-square ruler. I love that thing. It's definitely a great investment, and it's only like $3 or $4. It's definitely something you need to pick up if you like to have straight lines on your layouts and you can't do them like me. So this is where I put that photo in the 5x7. I love that photo so much. I wanted to really showcase it, and I thought that making it a 5x7 size would really do that. I used the back of the winter words, and it's like this navy color to back the 5x7 photo. And then I thought about backing the two photos that are going to be on the left hand side, but I just didn't have enough paper. So I went ahead and put them directly down to the layout. So once again, I pulled out my T-square ruler to make sure that those photos were straight, because I knew that I wanted this 5x7 photo to be a little off-tilted, and so I wanted to make sure that those photos were straight to not interfere with that 5x7 photo. Now I'm looking through the ephemera pieces that I received, and again, I got 1/4 of the pack, and they all vary, so I wanted to see what I could add to my layout. I love the word snow there in the banner, so I went ahead and inked those edges. And a tip for you guys when you're doing banners is to put all kinds of dimension behind it. So what you'll notice is that the word snow, it has fun foam on the top of it. The letter N is flat down to the layout. The letter O has fun foam on the bottom part of it, and the letter W has fun foam in the center. So when you put it on the layout, it gives it that look of movement because it's all different layers and different things are popped up, and I really like the way that that looks. I did take this tag that has the snowflakes on it and go ahead and add it to the far right hand side under that tag there so that you can not see the words there. This is where I pull out the embellishment kit, which is the Cartabella chipboard pieces for this particular flavor of the month. And I don't use a whole lot of them, but I really liked this chipboard that said crisp, cool, snowy winter. I went ahead and cut out that circle. It had like a hot cocoa on it, but I really just wanted the smoke from it, so I tucked it underneath the photo, and you can just see the little squiggly lines coming up. I also used a chipboard piece that says the word joy. And here is where I cut off a little tiny tag and stick it underneath that chipboard piece just to give me a little layer there. These photos are of a friend, and we live in Florida, so the chance of us having snow is less than 0. We do not get snow in Florida. We do get some flurries like up in North Florida, but we live in Central Florida where there is no possibility of snow at all. So this snow is the fake snow that we like to have here locally, and they had put it on the trees and the bushes behind them, so they went and got these pictures taken with the little one with the snows. So I used one of the 3x4 cut-aparts to cut out that little sweater. I thought he was so cute. But then afterwards, I realized that he was on that chipboard piece. So I could have totally used the chipboard piece as well. Either way, it works fine. Now I'm just playing around with different pieces from the ephemera pack. And I do go ahead and lay down this blue and white striped piece and cut off the edge. So you just see that little corner. I really liked the squiggly lines of that corner piece. I think it really added to this layout. So I definitely want you guys to check out the Facebook group, the ScrapRoom Facebook group. I will link that below for you guys. And we would love for you to play along with this sketch. If you are a member of the club, We would love for you to use one of the flavors of the month or the double shot kits. If you're not, you're still welcome to play along with us. If you would like to join the scrap room, make sure that you let Rochelle know that I sent you, because she will include something extra special in your first kit. Now, I am not a card maker, but I felt like I had a few extra pieces here, and instead of putting them away, they weren't really enough to make another layout. I thought, hey, why don't I make a couple of cards? So I have these 2 cards here that I have taken a picture of so that you guys can see them. I think they are super cute. I've really just used any of the scraps as well as the cut aparts, and then I did pull from the embellishment kit as well to add that chipboard winter on the left-hand side. So this Flavors of the Month kit with those 3 pieces of pattern paper, 2 cardstocks, and the ephemera pack as well as the enamel dots and the embellishment kit could absolutely give you a double page layout as well as 2 cards. And then from there, I really didn't have anything left over that was worth keeping. So I was so excited that I was able to get a full layout done, as well as I felt like I accomplished something. Because you know, when we pull out a kit and we still have leftovers left, you kind of feel like you need to still work on it. But with this here, I felt accomplished. I felt like I had finished something. I had used the kit in its entirety. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. I will have everything linked below that I talked about. Definitely go check out our Facebook group, because there are lots and lots of inspiration over there. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.